So now we're going to create a report using the information that we set up when we did the outline in assignment 12. If you remember, it was all about Canada. So the first thing you need to do is download the file that I have up there that has all of the report type information in it, so you don't have to type it all over again or go and look for it. So when it comes up, it should be something like this. It's going to have a whole bunch of text in all different fonts and sizes and such. So we're going to start with right here at the top. We're going to go ahead and we're going to highlight the first three, and we're going to change the alignment to the center. Remember, alignment is up here on your home ribbon, and you're going to click on center so that it centers it all just at once. I need you to take and highlight this and change it to your name, please. Do not, it is not by you. This one is by me. The one you are doing is by you. So please change this. We're going to take Canada, and we are going to change this font of it to, you may change it to whatever you would like. I would say that you need to make it probably, we'll make it 36 points. A brief overview. Oh, let's go back here under Canada 2. I also want it change the color of it. You can change it to whatever you would like. A brief overview. You can change it to, or you actually just leave it Calibri, that's fine. And I would change it to maybe 18, and then this one is Calibri also, and we will change that to 18 also. So this would be our title page. So the table of contents would not go on the title page. So you would take and you'd have to click behind your name, and then you need to hit the enter key so that you can go down to page 2. So as you can see, it shows you the two pages here. So we have the table of contents, and then underneath it we have all of this text that goes with all of the different provinces of Canada. So we're going to go ahead and click underneath our table of contents, and we're going to go down to page 3. Okay, so now we are on page 3. This is where your body of your report will start taking place here. Now, as you can see, all of the formatting from the original outline stayed here, which is what is creating your table of contents. So now what we need to do is we need to format the text and such that is here. So right now, if you notice here, if I click on Canada, it is in 16. Well, Canada should not be smaller than what our text is. And in general, a report is written in 12 point, either Calibri or Times New Roman or Arial. That's the three different fonts. So that's what we are sticking with. So what we are going to do is we are going to, first of all, we'll go to north of the USA, and that's only at 11. So go ahead and change that to 12. Then we're going to go here, and this is a paragraph. What is the first thing you should do with a paragraph? You should indent a paragraph. So to indent a paragraph, you're going to go here and put your cursor right before Canada, and you're going to hit the tab key, and it will indent it. So now you have an indentation, and it shows that it is a paragraph. So now we need to change the font and the size, so we're going to go ahead and select it all. We can leave it in Calibri body. We're going to make it 12 point, and right now Canada is in bold. I don't want Canada in bold. So to get rid of Canada in bold, what you do is you highlight it, and then you see how the bold shows up. Well, now we're going to click it, and now it will no longer be bold. So we have done the first one. Now the second one, if you look here, see New Brunswick, which is part of Canada, is at 13. So this is at 14. So we don't want that at 14. So we're going to go ahead, and basically what we're doing is we're going to change all of these to Colibri 12. We're going to click at the beginning. We're going to indent each one of our paragraphs. And we are going to, so we are formatting our report, because a report should be consistent. It should not have a bunch of fonts in it. It should not have a bunch of colors or styles. It should be just basically what it is, a report, information. So I am indenting, I am changing the size and font of all of them. Now, some of you might ask, why am I not just selecting the whole thing and changing it? Hopefully you would know that answer, because if I select all, which is Control A, and I change it to Colibri 12, everything turns to Colibri 12. Okay, so you don't want to do that. So I'm undoing, which is Control Z, and I'm going back, and unfortunately that's when you start from an outline, that's one of the things you have to do, is you have to go in and you have to change each one of them. So we're going to go ahead and do, oops, I didn't go, alright, so up here I need to indent and indent and indent. Okay, I changed the font and size. Now we need to indent, changing the font and size, and going back here and indenting. Same thing with this one, which is the last one, and we are going to change it to 12 because that is the typical, and we are going to indent. So now we have a much better, more organized, more consistent report. So the big thing here then is that we need to create page numbers, because if I have a table of contents, right now it says they're all on number 1. If I click on my table of contents and I say update table, and I say update the entire table, you can do page numbers only, but I always do this just because it'll show me if I mess up any kind of formatting. And I hit OK, it now changes that. But if I was looking at your table of contents, would I know where number 4 is? I don't think so, because I have no page numbers. So to insert page numbers, what you need to do is go to insert, and over here under header and footer, we've already used the header. We're going to use a page number. I like my page numbers at the bottom of the page. If you would like to put it at the top of the page, you may, but I'm going to put it at the bottom of the page, and I am going to put it in the middle. So now, if you look, I now have a footer, which is something just like the header that will show up on every page, but then it will change on every page to put in the page numbers. So now my table of contents makes a whole lot more sense. So now I'm going to close my footer, and I'm going to go here. Now the next thing that some people do is that, especially in middle school, you guys think, well, if I write really big or if I put spaces in the middle, then I can write a whole page. Okay, just an FYI, teachers know this. So, but I'm going to show you how you would change the spacing if that's what you wanted to do. So if I take, right now, between this one and between north of the USA and Canada, there is an extra space in there. Okay, so if I take and I highlight just this part, and I go up here to I'm on the home ribbon, and I'm going to the paragraph, and you go to this up and down. If you click on it, I can change the spacing to whatever it is that I would like to be. But if I do that, it will also increase how much is between north of the USA and Canada. Now, if I click on Canada and I hit return, it's taking me there. So you're like, oh no, there's not a space there. Well, there is. In Word, what Word does is after every paragraph, it puts a space for you. So even though this doesn't look like a paragraph, you hit return after you hit this, and so therefore it's got that in there. So to get rid of that, you have to highlight what you want, and then you go to the spacing, and it says remove space after paragraph. See how I do that? It removes it. So it comes down and it goes to here. So now when I go in here and I make it double spaced, I have a double spaced, it's double spaced all the way through. Now you can do that with everything, because if you notice now, this is not double spaced. So what I would do is I would select, you cannot select all, but you can select your text, all of the stuff that we brought in, not your table of contents, not your title, but all of the other text that you had. You can go ahead and select. You can first say remove space, and then once you have done that, go to double spacing. Most reports will be double spaced. If it is a true report that you are doing, it will be double spaced. Alright, so now all of it is double spaced, but now look, I am down here on page 8, and if I go to my table of contents, I'm only on page 5. So I have to click here on contents, go to update table, and then hit OK. And so now it will tell me where it starts. I know that we're ending on page 8, but Ontario starts on page 7. Okay, another thing is do you see all these red lines? That means that it is spelled wrong. Red lines means spelled wrong. Blue lines means there's a grammar issue. Okay? So to do that, instead of going through and saying, oh, okay, well, what would this be? Because a lot of times you don't know what it is. Sometimes it's a typing error. But it is much easier to do spell check. So I'm going to go here, and I'm going to go to review, and I'm going to go over here to spelling and grammar, and it will come up and it will tell me the sentence that it's in, and it will give me some options. If I click on the option that I like, it changes it. So now it will go through and it will do all of these. So you need to go through and basically choose the right one. Okay, so now you have to read what it says, because sometimes you might think because James is a name, this might be a last name. But it's not, so you have to actually read what you're doing. So this is James Bay and Hudson Bay. So Lawrence End. Okay. So you're going through, you're kind of looking, you're reading. Okay, so now, do we think that this is outhouses? Okay, so we're talking about concentrated in the west of the island of Montreal, but are also significantly present in the Outaouais. Okay, this is all part of Canada, so it is not over here. So you have to say, if you know you've used it more than once in your thing, you can say ignore all, or you can say ignore once. I usually say ignore all if I know that it's correct, because then it won't come up again. All right, same thing with this. I want to ignore all. Okay, so we're reading, we're fixing as we go on. It will do a lot of this for you. So just need to go through, make sure you're kind of reading. Okay, but seasonal temperatures averagely swungs are smaller than in areas further east. So is it swung or is it swings? So you have to actually pay attention. You can't just click the first one, even though most of the time it is the first one. But you cannot assume that. I'm just going through and it just happens to be the one that comes in. Okay, so now this is a grammar issue because it's looking for, right now it's double lined, and it's because there is no space there. So now if I take this and I make the space, it's going to fix it. It's also going to put your comma in, so if you miss some commas, it will help you with that. So we're going through, we're fixing all of, okay, so land portage on Minnesota, wonderful. I don't think that's what it is. I think we only wanted to say border. So you can click over here and you can hit your backspace and actually come up with a word, and then you hit resume. And then it'll tell you that it's all done. So now I have the spell check done. The other cool thing that you can do is if you have one word and you don't think that it is spelled right, you can highlight it, you can right click on it, and it will tell you the spelling, it'll give you synonyms, sometimes it'll give you antonyms, etc. It will also give you a thesaurus. A thesaurus is if you're always using the same word and you want to mix it up and you want to change the way it says, instead of saying great all the time, you can click on it, and when it comes down here you can hit thesaurus. So now bilingual is also multilingual, polyglot, fluent. So we might say multilingual if you click on it, and then can't get to my little there should be an OK button down here, but it is hiding on mine. So you can click on it and you should be able to, or you can just copy and paste it in. Alright, so we'll try one other one just so that you can see something like, I don't know, maybe you don't know what urban means. So we'll go ahead and say urban. We're going to right click. We're going to go to synonyms, and then we'll go to thesaurus. Okay, so urban is a city, town, municipal, metropolitan, borough. Rural is an antonym. The country is an antonym. So this will also help you if you don't know what a word means when you are doing something. So we're going to go ahead and click on inner city. We're going to copy it, and we will paste it over here. Okay, so I want you to fix those two things. Under Quebec, I want you to change it to inner city, and under Canada, I want you to change bilingual to multilingual province, or under New Brunswick. Alright, so now the other things, I mean, there's many other things that we can do, but one of the cool things is that if you know that it's something that you want people to know, or if it's you reading somebody else's stuff, you can also highlight the important stuff. So to do that, if you go here and under the font, you have a highlighter, and I can change it to whatever color I would like. And I'm going to check pink, and I could say that it's the world's second largest country by total area, and it will highlight it. And we're going to go down here and we're going to talk about Calgary, and we're going to say that in 2015 it had the highest number of millionaires. You can also change the color. So we're going to go all the way down here to the bottom, and we are going to highlight. Let's see what we'll highlight. We'll highlight the Minnesota border. So we're going to change the color, and you can change it to a different color. You do not have to use the same colors I have, and you're going to change it. Alright, so there you go. And then the last thing, and I cannot make sure that you do this, so this is just more for you so that you know what to do. But if you go to the Review tab, you can click here. Alright, let's see. Before I do that, we're going to go up here to the very top, and that's where our cursor is going to be, and we're going to
Canada,
read aloud.
North of the USA. Canada is a country in the northern part of North America. Its 10 provinces and 3 territories extend from the Atlantic to the Pacific and northward into the Arctic Ocean, covering 9.98 million square kilometers, 3.85 million square miles, making it the world's second largest country by total area.
When you want to stop it, you can stop it right here. If you want to just delete this so you can't see the controls anymore, if you click on the settings, you can make it go really fast or really slow. You can also change it to a couple different people reading. So that's just another thing that if you are an Audible learner, that you can use on any Word document. It does not have to be a report, but it is just another thing that you can be doing. So once you have done this, you need to save it. You need to save it as DA2, DA2-1-14, and your last name. You will put it in your business folder and Unit 1, and then you will put it on OneDrive. If you have any questions, just raise your hand and I will come and help.